Hey, welcome to my channel Motion with Nas. I really hope you've been enjoying my content so far. And in this video is the concluding part of the project breakdown that I've started in the previous video. If you have been enjoying this, please let me know in the comment section. I would like to hear your thoughts about it and your feedback, right? And then if you are new to my channel, make sure you do subscribe, and also click on the notification bell icon so that you can get real-time notification from me. And lastly, don't forget the project file is available for a token of $3, so that I can actually check this thing out, see more of the things I couldn't even explain in the video, and then it's your only tool of supporting what I do, so that I can keep doing this. All right, so let's go finish this up. I think for you to really achieve all this, the bouncing around thing, just play around with the velocity. Anything that has to do with the velocity, the direction, and the angular velocity, you're able to achieve that. So that's how I get to achieve this bouncing around, right? So let me just close this and move on, okay? Right, so let me just click on my shy button to hide this unused layout, basically. So that's how I get to achieve all of this bouncing around in the circle there. And I just have this rotate scale, so I think I have a whole lot of nulls in this. So okay, I think I don't have nulls with this. I just have my arrow element doing all the work, because a whole lot of things are attached to it. All of the shapes are attached to it. So if I press U now, you can see I have scale animation, rotation animation to it. Then one other thing, you can see this transition thing going on here, right? That's because I have an adjustment layer, and with this adjustment layer I applied optics compensation, and what it does is just to distort a particular scene in a very circular way, basically. So if I come here and just check this reverse lens, it will do the reverse of this, but basically I had to uncheck that and then apply that to this, so you can see. So I just make sure that it formed that circle to really match well with the second one. So one thing about match cut is you just need to know what the next thing is going to look like, and then try as much as possible to match according to the next shape or the next look of your next scene, basically. So hope that's okay. And then the next thing here is another Cinema 4D file again. All right, how I get to achieve this. All right, so let me just quickly show you guys how I get to achieve this. Right, so I have this circular tunnel thing going on here, so I get to achieve that. So I'm going to quickly show you my Cinema 4D file a little bit. So this is how I created it here. I did a quite number of experiments to achieve this any kind of look, but this is what I settled for at the end of the day. So let me just quickly show you how I get to achieve this. So I'm going to uncheck the camera. You can actually see that it's a cylinder, like a tunnel kind of thing here, right? But let me quickly show you how I get to achieve that. So let me uncheck this. Basically created a cylinder, right? Yes, a cylinder. Is this a cylinder? Let me quickly check to be sure. A tube rather, right? I created a tube, right? And with that tube, I reduced the segment to about 10. So that's why it is really angular like this, right? And what I now did next, let me check this. What I did next was to take this cube, we make it editable by pressing C, right? C will make it editable, so then you can have access to all of this. And basically what I did, so if this was like this, you have to check on this particular option here, on the polygon option. So basically what I did, I created my material, which I already showed you how I did that already. And I just take this and drop this here, right? So basically what I did was just do my calculation. I did this manually, right? I'm holding down my shift, okay? Then just make sure that I use same color for all of these, then go to the next one, then go to the next one, right? Then use yellow, right? And that's how I get to achieve all of that till the end. Then when I'm done, right, maybe I should just try and do this first one to be uniform. And when I'm done, I added the subdivision surface to it, right? Let me just drop this above here and I'll just put it here. So add a subdivision surface and just make it circular again, and that's how I get to achieve it. So let me just delete my test and go back to this one here, right? Practically, when I finished with one, I duplicated it and I moved it forward some more. So let me show you what I mean, right? So if I uncheck this right now, right, so I just had to duplicate it and move it forward. I tried to use the instance thing, but then it was looking kind of funky for me. Well, basically that's how I get to achieve this look. I really hope you learned a lot from that. Then basically we have this circle thing going on here. This is just simple position scale, right? I just use my eyes to make sure it's looking more it looks realistic in terms of looking at it in a 3D dimension, right? That's how I get to achieve this. And then towards the end, let me play this, and then towards the end I just make sure that it's going along with the beat. And then I have this next scene here, quite an exciting scene, I must say. Yeah, so even if I'm not arranging or naming my layers, which I won't advise you not to, right? Please make sure you always name the layers, right? So but one thing I've done, right, is to arrange my layers in a way that I know that this is the next scene, this is the next scene, this is the next scene. You understand what I mean, right? So yeah, so basically this next scene, this is what I have here. So all right, so let me just solo some things out here so that we can have a better understanding of what is going on in this scene. Let me see. Right, let me make sure I have this. So basically let me uncheck the rest. Let me see. Okay, so basically this is like the hero element. I always have one hero element, right? So basically how I get to achieve this is just make sure this is parented to this in a certain way, right? So this is just parented to this, and the circle is one making all the movements, right? So you can see the position, animation, and that's it. Then I also introduce the other elements, right, and which is practically the same thing. It's just simple position, animation, right? And then I was listening to the beat, and I like listening to the beat and also considering animation principle, anticipate and overshoot. So that's what I now use to enter the next scene. So I just wanted to be some form of strong anticipation into the next scene, and that's why we have this a little bit of reverse on them, right, before they move into the next scene. But then I need to uncheck some other things that I have here, right? If you notice, and I think also before I even show this, let me show you guys this line, right? So I have this line. Basically, let me solo this line. Yeah, let me isolate just this line alone, right? So this line is just I created a simple stroke. So I created a simple stroke. So with this effect, wave warp. So if I uncheck the effect, you can see it's just simple straight line, right? It's just a simple straight line. And with this, you can see I have this, and basically I just tweak the settings, sign, increase the wave speed, right? And with this, you can see what's going on here, right? And I just parent it to this too as well. That's how we have that cool thing going on there. And also in addition to this, I have these speed lines, right? And these speed lines are actually quite interesting, right? Let me uncheck this. So they're actually quite interesting, and how I get to achieve this is actually quite simple. Let me quickly show you. I actually use Ouroboros for this. It's also a very good plugin. I think it's a script. Right, it's a very good script from Van Dyke. I can't really remember his name. I'm sorry if you are watching this. I'm ordering your name. I sincerely apologize, but you made an amazing script. So let me just call it Ouroboros test. Right. So let me just quickly show you how this is being used. So I'm going to create a line. In short, I don't even need to create a line. Let me just activate the script. Ouroboros, right, and there it is. So let me just bring this so you guys can see this. So this Ouroboros, and with this I can just simply create a line, simple shapes with this, right? And it's going to ask how long do you want this to be. So I think 500 is okay, I guess, right? So this is a line, and it's actually in white. So let me change the background. Let me change the background to black. Okay, which is fine. Okay, now with this is just a simple line from the script, but then I can now add modules to it to form whatever it is I need it to form, right? So I can make sure the one I added to it is speed lines. So I added before I add speed lines, I'll add Ouroboros itself to it, right? And with that, it's actually going to introduce these 3 colors. So with Ouroboros, you can have different colors in one stroke layer, which is really cool, right? This is going to be very hard to achieve if you are trying to do this natively from After Effects. So I have this, and then the next thing I just need to do is to add speed, right? By adding speed lines, automatically if I play this now, it's just be moving, right? It's just be moving, right? And then how do I tweak all the settings? So let me adjust this as well, right? So I have my settings here, these Ouroboros, and with speed I can control how fast it's going to get, right? And if you want to also change the colors, you would add color modules, add the color modules to it, and then from here you can easily just change the color to whatever color that you want. Let's say you want to change this to this, change this to, let's say, yellow, something like this, right? Really ugly colors, right? And you can have something really cool like this. So let me just change this back to red because it's hard to see right now, right? So you can change the colors, and then if you also want to change the stroke width, you just add the width module as well, and then you come to the settings, and then you can just reduce the width. And basically that's how you make use of it. There's so much more you can do with this. As you can see, I'm barely scratching the surface on what you can do with this, but I actually use the speed modules, and then I increase the speed a lot, and I duplicated it. And if I play this now, can you see it's actually moving really fast, right? And that's practically how I get to achieve those speed lines, which is really awesome in my own opinion. Here, let's go back to this. So that's it for this scene. There's something else is still checked, and then we'll move on to the next scene, right? So I make sure that at the fastest I introduce this, right? This is actually quite, in my own opinion, quite easy and simple to do. Just basic. If you have mastered your keyframing, your ease, your graph editor, to simulate how things really move is really simple to do. So if I press U here, right? So basically what I did was I took my hero element, and I actually did some color animation as it's eating any of this, right? As you can see, those things are actually changing color and they are moving, right? And I think what my interest is how I get to achieve those really cool movements that makes it look realistic. So let me just check on the curves. So at the beginning was just more of when this eat this, right? It was more of the frame is actually quite short. It was just more of ease, right? And then towards the end, right, you can see it just keeps moving tiny bit. So it's just a matter of timing and checking all these things to make sure it looks more realistic, and that's practically what I did here. And I also animated the color as well. You can see that as it's eating, it's also changing the colors of all of this, and then the transition into this next scene. And these are just simple scale animation. So let me make sure all of this is closed because it's looking kind of confusing right now. So let me just press U. Okay, so everything is all neat again. So these are just simple scale animation, basically simple scale animation, right? And of course match cut, and then I jump into the scene, right? So this scene is kind of like a funny scene to me, right? And I just animate it forward. So let me just hold on. I think this should be my hero element here, U. Right, so basically I attached null. So this is my hero element. Yes, this is my hero element, and this is my white background. This is my white circle here, and this is my background here, right? So I actually try to make sure that it looks very real as it's touching. They have this corresponding movement, which is, I believe it's called follow through, right? And that's particularly what I did. So sometimes when you are trying to do this, you might not be able to achieve those kind of movements with the layers itself. So you might have to introduce a whole lot of nodes to achieve what it is that you really want to achieve. So that's practically what I did here. So practically what I did, I took a particular picture here, right? I took this frame, and I took it back into Cinema 4D. So let me just quickly show you what I mean. So I would go to click on this, and then let me just, I think I have the picture on my desktop, and yeah, this is it, right? So this is what I have, and then I'll just increase the opacity a little bit. And then with this, I was able to now start creating my shape, right? To make sure that it fits into this, so that by the time I'm doing the transition, it's actually fitting. So this is how I get to achieve the smooth transition from 2D to 3D. So with this behind it, and me able to start creating my cylinder, right? So let me just come here. I think I'll have to change this to, yeah, something like this. Then I just have to, adjust this here, bring this here at this point, then duplicate, then make this bigger, right? Then adjust this to be at this point, and then at the end of the day, I know that I'm working with something big, small. So, and then I'll have to adjust this too as well, right? Then bring this over, right? Something like this. So this is how I get to just create all the scenes from the 2D into the 3D, right? I really hope you guys do understand. If you want more on this, let me know. But this is how I get to achieve that. And then and then I not this. And then at the end of the day, I was able to create all of this, and then I animated the camera, right? Animated the camera, also animated this to go into the center, goes up, then animated this whole shape here, and then dots turn around and then comes back. And then if you look at the result here as well, that's practically what I did. Turns around, come back, and practically what I did to achieve this shading is the same shading thing here as well. So right, it's not so perfect, but I just had to use it like that. They actually have something for 3D, so let me close this. So which is really good actually. Yeah, they actually have shading for 3D too as well. So like I said, try and check them out and play along with that. So I actually took some of those beginning elements, right, that I used, and then I just reverse it, and then I have the text, right, just coming as it is. So I would like to stop here. I know that this video is very long. I really apologize, but I really actually want to give us so much value so that you guys can really learn a lot from this. All right, I really hope you do enjoy that, and this is the conclusion of this particular project. I know that there's some part that I couldn't really show right from the beginning, like how I get to develop the illustration, or some things that I think I could have shown, but in the next project breakdown I would definitely do that. Okay, let me know if you do like it, and then subscribe if you're new to my channel, and don't forget the project file is available for you to download, as well as supporting me as well. And that's it from me. See you guys in the next video. Thank you.